Or was it on Mondays again? Maths? Maybe Japanese history? Either way, I was far too busy chasing the ball to try to remember. Classes and such had become a secondary issue in my mind. Adachi and I hadn't always skipped class together. She had her own places, and I had mine. Not that she even used to come to school all that much anyway. Reading manga and stuff, you often see students hanging around on their school's roof. In reality, however, most schools have their roofs closed off. Besides, you'd probably get sunburnt if you took a nap or something up there. That's why I chose the second floor of the gym, because it was safe from both people and the sun. Coincidentally, Adachi too had taken notice of it. The second term had barely started back then, and it was still quite hot. Perhaps that's why she had been sitting around lazily with her shoes, and even her socks, off. I still remember the way she sprang up in panic as I walked in, probably thinking that I was a teacher making the rounds or something, as well as her cute little toes, which she had been wiggling around. Ever since then, we had often found ourselves doing the same thing by a complete fluke. That also went for skipping class. We'd get a hunch that the other might have come here, and when we went to check, there they were. As for after school stuff, well, Adachi rarely ended up staying the whole day, and as such, I usually went with my other two friends. Those two were the complete opposites of Telegents, though, and had probably never failed to copy a single letter off the blackboard, much less skip a class. Two diligent students, and two not so diligent. Well balanced, or maybe just halfway done. The ping pong ball travelled between us, slowly enough to cause my mind to wander off to such thoughts. I got to take some time off the things that usually bothered me, and it felt great. Too hot, I can't keep going. Undoing the top button of her shirt, Adachi declared that she had enough. She placed the racket on the table and waved her hands sideways, as if to further reinforce her statement. She wasn't the only one exhausted. I rolled up my sleeves, now sticking to my arms with sweat, and left the table as well. The ping pong ball remained in my hand though. I could have tried tossing it on the table, but since I didn't feel confident in my ability to land the throw, I decided against it. Whoever was in charge of cleaning this place must have been pretty careless. The floor was covered in a thick layer of dust, sticking to it like wax. Neither I nor Adachi really wanted to sit on it, but thankfully, the net that stopped balls from falling down to the first floor also doubled as a bench. On it we sat, quietly. I want some wind, Adachi muttered, her face flushed and her cheeks burning. Feeling the exact same way, I gave the window we weren't able to open a bitter look. It wasn't that the window was locked or anything, of course, and if we tried, we could probably have opened it with ease. Now the problem was more that if we did that, people outside might see and realize that someone was up here. Should we go out? The lunch break soon. Adachi had rolled up the sleeves of her shirt and even pulled its tail out of her skirt. No way could I ever wear my uniform that casually. If left alone, she'd probably roll up her skirt too. Another thing that I wasn't able to imitate. Even if no one was watching, it was still kind of embarrassing. Just as I thought that, however, Adachi actually began doing it. She grabbed her skirt and waved it. My, how immodest. Our school's, what's the word? Dignity? Yeah, that's it. It's being degraded. Anyway, lunch, huh? What to do? Adachi glanced at me as she said this. I decided to let the abrupt change of topic slide, considering that all it took for me to go back to my regular uniform was to put on my jacket. I was inevitably chosen as the one to go to do the shopping. If Adachi were to go, she would have to first tug her shirt, roll down her sleeves, redo her buttons, and then put on her jacket. And that was just way too much work. She probably also wanted to fix her hair, seeing how it fluffed up slightly. Fine, fine, I'll go. I promise I'll go next time. I don't think your next time and mine are the same thing. This must have been her fifth next time already. And yet, Adachi simply laughed. A Danish and water's fine. That'll be all. Got it. If they're sold out, I'll just grab something. Adachi always drank mineral water. It kind of made me jealous, thinking that maybe that's why her skin was so clear and without any spots. Maybe instead of blood, she had water running in her veins. You going to class after lunch? I might. What about you? Going home? Well, not to class anyway. After a second of thought, she uncrossed her arms and placed her hand on the floor. The air of nonchalance was already back on her face. Never had I tried seriously asking Adachi why she didn't go to class. The reverse was also true. We had simply happened to both come here at the same time and, feeling a little bored nevertheless, tried playing table tennis to see if that would help. I flicked away the ping pong ball I had kept in my hand. It made soft clacks as it bounced on the floor before hitting a wall and stopping. Those sounds resembled the sound of knocking on the door of another's heart. Adachi took off her shoes and, dangling them off her fingertips, spoke. She was completely focused on that activity, and the look on her face was really stern. Her lower lip was curled and pushed forward, like she was really giving it her all. Ping pong is pretty fun, huh? True that. Individual sports might be a better fit for me after all. Well, I did enjoy basketball too. I had realized in my third year in middle school that I just wasn't suited for it. I was the kind of person who, when it came to competitions, always wanted to test how far they could get with their own strength alone. And I knew well that they would just end up ruining the dynamic in team sports. I also regularly got told off for hogging the ball. But, if they said we were having ping pong in gym class, I still probably wouldn't go. Same here. I'll be hiding somewhere else if that happens. Adachi agreed while stretching her hand up. She waved it in the air before cracking her elbow and letting out a yawn. I hear that's just how her body was. Apparently, it always made that kind of sound when she stretched her elbow. Strange. We sure agree on the weirdest thing, Shimamura. Adachi had said my name, and though she probably was unaware, just hearing it annoyed me. I really hated my last name. Shimamura. The first thing that came to anyone's mind when they thought about Shimamura was the fashion store by the same name, and I couldn't help but to feel that whenever people referred to me, that's what they were imagining. Being Ishimasaki or something would have been much better. As we sat there relaxed, our legs stretched out, the chime indicating the end of class played. It echoed through the gym, which should have been empty, and soon enough, my stomach joined in on its melody with a growl. There's the chime. Yep. Off you go now. Adachi waved goodbye at me, and so I reluctantly stood up. I put on the jacket that I had taken off, as well as my shoes. Then, After checking that I had my wallet, I headed to the stairs. Before I got there, I took a look back and saw Adachi stretching for her bag to grab her phone and, not quite reaching it, flopping back down into her original position. Though I could totally sympathize, I still decided to taunt her with a quick, "Ha, sloth." She protested a little by drumming the floor with her heels, but I simply shook my shoulders and walked down the stairs. Just who Adachi had registered in her phone was just another in the endless piles of mysteries that surrounded her. I had never seen her talking with anyone in school, besides me, of course. I guess that made sense, seeing how she barely came to school in the first place. We had been meeting here a lot lately, though, so maybe she was coming to see me. Realizing that that could actually be the reason made me feel a little uneasy. And for some reason, it felt like if I were to bring that up with her, Adachi would never come to the second floor of the gym again.